Hey, what's up, Logos American History students? It is Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. Happy Bastille Day to all you French speakers out there. I don't know if there's any out there, but it's day 74 overall of our e-learning experience, and we are almost to the end, guys. We got just a couple more days after today, and then it's the end of the term, end of the school year, and beginning of summer break. How about that? Sounds good to me. We can see the finish line, but we're not quite there, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we have on our agenda for today on the Blackbaud. Get out of here and get to our class page on Blackbaud, the bulletin board. We see our e-learning instructions and the reminder about last Zoom meeting of the school year on Thursday at 11 a.m. So make sure you set your alarms and mark your calendar for that. It'll be a fun way to wrap up the school year. But as far as what we are covering today and tomorrow, before we get to Thursday, we've been covering the presidency of Barack Obama, and leading into the current situation with President Trump. And what we saw yesterday is that America, during the presidency of Obama and definitely of Trump, has become more and more divided. That's our most recent topic, and we've been watching this video, America's Great Divide. So we watched the first part of this video yesterday, and the first part deals with President Obama's first term. And the question of the day and the video in that first term talks about really the first major fight, and that was the fight over Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, which was a piece of legislation passed with the intent of making health care and health insurance more affordable for more Americans. Democratic presidents had been trying to get this kind of legislation passed going back to Harry Truman, and they all failed. And so Obama was intent on being the president who would succeed in doing this. And he did, but we saw the cost. There was a lot of blowback to that, and it kind of set up the tone for what the rest of Obama's presidency would be. And so today we're watching the second part of that video, and we do have another question of the day. So yesterday you watched the first 40 minutes, today you're watching the second 40 minutes. And the second 40 minutes, I don't know how many of you got all the way to the end of the first 40 minutes yesterday, but it kind of ended with Donald Trump. Not President Trump. This was in 2012 when Donald Trump, the reality TV star and billionaire, was thinking about running for president against Barack Obama when Obama was running for re-election. And his first major cause, political cause if you call it that, of Donald Trump's career, political career that is, was to fight this issue of the birth certificate of Barack Obama. This is an issue that many people who oppose Barack Obama would bring up a lot, especially during Obama's first term and definitely when he was running for president. The Constitution says you must be a natural-born U.S. citizen in order to be president. It's one of only 3 qualifications to be president. And so the insinuation was that Barack Obama, who is the son of a Kenyan immigrant, is not a natural-born citizen, even though his mother was an American citizen, and he was born in the United States of America, in Hawaii. But because people didn't like him, and because people thought there was something wrong with him, his name, his skin color, maybe the religious beliefs of him or his father, that he couldn't be a real American, and they demanded to see his birth certificate. And Donald Trump became the biggest, voice of this. This is purely racism and xenophobia. It's a silly issue that shouldn't be taken seriously, and it was taken much too seriously. And that's what this, I kind of backed it up a little bit, just because I wanted to cover this issue. It starts off with this silly issue, so let's take a look at this.
Against Obama in 2012.
Please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
He made himself the face of the birther movement.
The birther movement is what they called it.
Birth certificate. I think he probably to, because I have to, and everybody else has to. I'm sure. Why you can't show? Excuse me. Why? No, excuse me. I really believe there's a birth certificate. Why? Look, she's smiling. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
I've never heard any white president ask to be shown the birth certificate. When they become a president,
You are not allowed to be a president if you're not born in this country. He may not have been born in this country. And
That was the racist manifestation of resistance to the president. Donald Trump was at the forefront of it. I think it rankled President Obama because the birther stuff was just a pure racism / xenophobia, and it was based in nothing.
More than 40% of the population still question whether he's actually an American or not.
Obama had already released his birth certificate during the presidential campaign, but the issue wouldn't go away.
Obama was furious. It wasn't Trump. It was the media. If Trump couldn't get booked on all those shows, he'd just be another whack job, tweeting about conspiracy theories and maybe getting booked on Fox. Donald Trump is a creation of the American political news media. And that's what angered Obama. That's what angered us in the White House.
The great part about a guy with your resources is that you were able to deploy people to go and find out what is actually going on with Barack Obama's birth certificate. What did you find?
well, we're looking into it very, very strongly. Nobody knows who he is. It's very strange. The whole thing is very strange. And she was saying he was born essentially in Kenya. And if he wasn't born in this country, it's one of the greatest scams in the history of politics and in the history period.
Obama reluctantly released more proof of his citizenship.
Now, as many of you have been briefed, we provided additional information today about the site of my birth. This thing just kept on going. Yes, in fact, I was born in Hawaii, August 4th, 1961, in Kapiolani Hospital.
So there you go, right? And it's as Whoopi Goldberg said, it's never been an issue for any other any president until we get the first black president. It was just it was a stupid issue that got way too much attention, and Obama ended up having to take it more seriously than he should. Now, serious issues come up later on in this video, and that's where we get to the question of the day. And I want to talk about this question today because there's two big events that happened. And they detail in this video, and you may have heard about these. One was the shooting of Trayvon Martin, an unarmed teenager who was killed by George Zimmerman, an armed volunteer neighborhood watch guy who didn't like how Trayvon looked walking through his own neighborhood, walking home from a convenience store. But George Zimmerman didn't like how he looked. He was a black teenager in a hoodie. And George Zimmerman confronted him. They got into a physical altercation, a fight, and George Zimmerman pulled out his gun and shot and killed Trayvon Martin. And he was found not guilty of murder because in Florida they have a law that says you're allowed to shoot people if you feel your life is threatened. Even though George Zimmerman started the fight, and even though Trayvon Martin was just armed with his fists, and George Zimmerman was a grown man against a teenager, he was justified under the law in shooting Trayvon Martin dead. This case is what led to the creation of the Black Lives Matter movement. So you have that, and then the video ends, or this segment of the video ends, talking about a mass shooting, and it's one of many mass shootings we've had in this country, but this was especially just horrible one. It occurred in an elementary school in I think it was Connecticut, Sandy Hook Elementary School, and dozens of first graders and their teachers were killed by gunmen, and it's just a horrible, horrible event. And the idea was that, these kinds of tragic events, some kind of change needed to be made to gun laws. And the point is that no changes have been made. They weren't made in the aftermath of Sandy Hook or in the aftermath of any of our other mass shootings that have happened since. And so the question of the day, let's take a look at it. Question of the day is... So again, we're watching today from the 40-minute mark to the 1 hour and 20-minute mark, the second 40 minutes of the video, and we're asking, do you think America should make any changes to the current laws regarding gun ownership, right to carry, and or justification for use of deadly force. Why or why not? Do you think the gun laws are fine the way they are? Do you think there should be even less regulation in who can own a gun and when they can carry it and how they can use it? Or do you think there should be more restrictions? I want to know what you think. Again, there's no right or wrong answers. Please be honest, share your opinion, yeah, let's see what you think of this question. It's a difficult question, and you know there are strong opinions on both sides. So don't feel bad if your opinion's not the popular opinion. Stand up for your opinion. But also, you know, I'll let you know what I think. I don't think it should be that easy for deranged people to obtain weapons to go in and kill dozens of first graders. That's just me. But it's a very deep issue, and so we can get more into it. If you have any questions or concerns about this or anything else, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the video and answer the question of the day, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.